All right, so for this game, we have what is effectively just a grouping game. We're going to have these 3 zones to work with, and I guess we can set it up accordingly, just zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. And we're going to have a bunch of people to put into those zones. We have KMP, and then we've got QSTU. Now, we have 7 people to work with here. And we're not actually given any restrictions on spacing, at least not at this point. So I guess that's a little bit flexible. But we do know that every single person only goes once. So that's pretty straightforward. So the rules. Rule number 1 tells us either P or T, but not both, would have to go into the first zone. So one has to be essentially P or T, but not both. So we can't have P and T together. And we can, I guess, reserve a space here. We know that we'll have to have a P or a T there. Next, we are told that either T or U, same deal, have to go into 2. So 2 is going to have a T or a U, but again, not both, so we can't have a TU block. And we can reserve a space here for one of T or U. And in fact, it's worth noting there's a bit of interplay there, right? Because T happens to be in both. So if this was a T, then that would force U to go over here. Or if this is a T, then that would force the P to go over there. Although I suppose if this is P, then this is flexible, and the same thing. If this is a U, then this would be still flexible. Yeah, let's keep going. Third rule, P and Q would have to be together. So that's kind of nice because, again, we can kind of interrelate these. So this PQ block, it could be part of this P. So if there's a P here, it's actually going to be a PQ block. And if it's not here, I guess it could even go into zone 2. And then this could be a T and this could be a U. So we have a bit of flexibility, but still, that's a 2-person block. That's definitely kind of worth noting. Next, we are told that S and U are going to have to be together. So, okay, so this is getting interesting. So S and U would also, same kind of deal. And again, that could be over here with U and S going together. But that's, of course, it doesn't have to be. It could be a T there instead. I guess it wouldn't be all 3 of them, but you could have the US block there, or you could have a T there. Anyways, next. There are more people working in 3 than there are in 2. So I guess 3 has to have more people than 2. In fact, we can even leave a little reminder here that there are more people here than there, which means zone 3 is going to have at least 2 people there, since we know that there's at least 1 person here. In fact, in these kind of situations, you always want to start thinking about numbers. What could we do with the numbers? So let's talk about zone 2. So zone 2, how many could we have here? If we had 2 people here, then there would have to be 3 at least there. That's up to 5, which still works. We could still make zone 1 work. But we can't do more than that, it looks like. If we put 3 people into zone 2, then zone 3 would have 4 people. That's already 7, and then there would be nobody left for zone number 1. So it looks like zone 2 is actually kind of tight. There would be a maximum of 2 people here. In fact, okay, well, you know what we could do here is we could probably exhaust this, because we know that this is going to be either a T or a U. But if it's a U, it's going to be S, and that would lock down completely. There would be no space at all. And if it's a T, then it would force the P with the Q into zone number 1, and that's kind of useful as well. So you know what? Yeah, let's exhaust this setup based on that second position. Either we're going to have a T here, and we know that we can't have both, so that's kind of nice, or we're going to have a U here, in which case we're here with the S, and then this would completely lock into place. And in the top scenario, as we said, if we have a T over here, then this would be forced to be P alongside Q. In fact, furthermore, let's see what else we can do. We know that in this scenario, zone 3 is going to have 3 people here at least. So that's something. Now, the PQ block at this stage, I suppose we have a little bit of movement, don't we? Because we could put the PQ block here, and that would just force everybody else to go into zone number 3. Or we could maybe put the PQ block here, in which case this would have to be a T, and we have a little bit more movement there. What about the top scenario? In the top scenario, I think we probably have a little bit of flexibility as well. As far as the SU block is concerned, obviously it's not going to go in number 2, but I think we could have it in zone number 3, or perhaps we could have it even in zone number 1. We could have PQSU, And then who's left? We would have K and M, and they could both go into zone number 3. So we have a little bit of movement. It's actually maybe worth noting that K and M here, these guys are the flexible ones. So you know what, let's see what we can do. The questions themselves. Question number 12, what could be a complete setup of the game? So first rule, either P or T, but not both, has to be in 1. So answer choice A has a P, B has a T, C has P, D has neither. We can get rid of answer choice D, and E has T, so we're good. Next, same thing, but for T and U. One of them has to go into zone 2. So answer choice A has a U, B has a U, C has a U, and E has neither. We can get rid of answer choice E. Next, we are told that P and Q have to be together, so answer choice A, have them separated. We can get rid of A. Answer choices B and C look okay on that end. Next, S and U have to be together, so between B and C, B looks good, C does not. They are separate, so we can get rid of C. And that leaves us with answer choice B as the best answer for question number 2. And as usual, let's plug that into the board. What answer choice B says is KT, then SU, and that would leave us with MPQ on the other one. Next, from there, let's take a look at the local questions. Number 13. If there are more people in 1 than there are in 3. Ooh, okay, so wait a minute. If we look at our 2 templates, there's no way for that to happen in this template, is there? Because there's already 3 people here. That would force you to have 4 people here. That's definitely not going to work. So if there are more people in 1 than in 3, that means that we're definitely looking at the top template. You would have to have P and Q here. You would have to have T in the middle. You would have at least 2 spaces here. And I suppose that means that you would have to have at least 3 spaces in zone number 1. In fact, I don't think we can't really do 2 people here, can we? Because if there's 2 people here, you would have to have 3 people here. That's already 5. And then more than that, you'd have to have 4 here. That's not going to work. In fact, can we even do, I don't think we can even do 3 people here either just on its own. Because if we have 3 people here, you'd have to have 4 in zone number 1. And there would be nobody left for zone 2, which means both of these zones are locked in terms of spacing. And so the extra person, we only have 1 more person to work with since 6 spaces already accounted for. They're going to have to go into zone number 1. So now what are we left with? We're just left with SU and KM. And I guess S and U are going to have to stay together, which is cool. And then KM are just going to go on the other of these 2. So they're just going to flip between zone 1 and 3. Let's take a look. The question itself asks, what could happen? K in 2, and no, that's already locked. Can we do M in 2? Nope, it's locked. Can we do P in 3? Nope, it's in 1. Can we do T in 1? Nope, it's in 2. Answer choice E, can we do U in 3? And maybe this could have been an SU block, and then this would have been the K and the M. So best answer to question number 13 is E. Next, question number 14 and 15 and 16 are all global. Number 17 is non-existent, so we're going to jump to number 18, which is our other local question here. So we have, if M and S are together, well, okay, let's see what we can do with that. If we have M and S together, what does that tell us? Well, I suppose right away that is not the second template because obviously this is locked. So if M and S are together, it would have to be the top template that we're working with. So let's kind of plug that in. We're going to have the PQ block here. We're going to have the T over here. We're going to have 2 spaces at least. And moreover, it's not just going to be M and S. It's going to be M, S, and U because those guys have to stay together. So now I suppose the question is, where could that block go? Obviously not in 2 because, well, this is maxed at 2 spaces. And we can't really do 1 because if we put MSU here, that would be 5 right there. And that would push us to 8 spaces total. We don't have that many people. So the MSU block, it would have to go into zone number 3. So that's kind of nice. Moreover, how many people do we have accounted for? We have 6 people taken care of. And I guess the 7th person really could go anywhere, couldn't they? Who is left, by the way? It would be K. And I suppose K has no restrictions. Anything goes right now. Okay, let's take a look. The question asks what could happen. K2, and we did just say K can seemingly do whatever, so why not? Answer choice B, M1, and no, M's already in 3. Next, P3, and no, P is already in 1. Next, S2, nope, it's already in 3. And T1, nope, it's already in 2. Best answer to question number 18 becomes A. Next, let's go back to the global questions. Number 14, which of the following must be false? So we're looking for something that cannot ever happen. Let's take a look. K and S are both in 1. Could we have ever had K and S in 1? Now, we haven't seen that yet, to be fair. But if we look at our two templates, in order for K and S to both be in 1, it would not be this template because S is already spoken for. So it would have to be here. It would have to be K over here and S. But wait a minute, S would have to be with U. So it would really be K, S, U. That's 5. Oh, no, that's not going to work. That's 5 people. And we need at least 3 more spaces. There we go. Answer choice A. That would not work. The best answer to question number 14 is A. And just to clarify, remember, these two templates, these are not just random possibilities. They are exhaustive. Everything that could happen in this game is going to have to fit into one of these two templates. So since we couldn't do the KS together in this template for them to go into 1, and they couldn't both go into 1 in this template either, that means it just can't happen in general. Anyways, next, question number 15. Which of the following could be a complete list of people working in Zone 3? I guess let's take a look. Answer choice A. Could we have K and M as the complete list of zone number 3? And I mean, okay, so this template, obviously not because we have to have 3 people there. But in this template, I think so. In fact, actually, wait a minute. In this question right here, that's what we had. We had an SU KM split. That could have happened. So this could have been KM or it could have been SU. So answer choice A actually would have been fine. Let's hold on to this one. Let's just take a quick look at the rest just to make sure. Could K and T be the complete list of zone number 3? And now in this scenario, it wouldn't because T is already in zone 2. But in this scenario, also no, because you need 3 people in zone number 3. So you would never have K and T be the complete list there. Answer choice C. What about P and Q? Would that ever be the complete list? And no, because either they're in zone number 1 or there's 3 people in zone 3. So P and Q would never be the full set of people. Answer choice D. Can we do STU? And, oh no, conveniently no, because either S and, actually simply put, one of T or SU has to go into 2. So you could never have all 3 of them in zone number 3. Answer choice E. PQSU, ooh, that's quite a bit. Could we do all 4 of them in zone number 3? Now, obviously not in this template because SU are already spoken for. Oh, and no, not in zone number 1 because PQ are already spoken for. So all 4 could never go into zone number 3. The best answer is A. And to be honest, once you had decent confirmation that A would have worked, that would have been a good enough reason to run with that answer. Next, question number 16. Q cannot go together with who? So before we kind of get into the weeds, let's use the history. Let's see what we can easily get away with. So Q, historically, we've seen with P, we've seen them with M. So we can get rid of P and M from the answer choices. So that's answer choice B. And, ooh, this is good. So check out this scenario. In this scenario is that Q could have been with either SU here, or SU could have gone there, and then this would have been K and M. So really, SU, K, M, we can also cross off. There it is. Answer choices A, B, C, and E would be disqualified. The best answer here becomes answer choice D. For the record, actually, it's worth noting, S and U in this game are logically identical elements, which means you could have crossed off answer choices C and E just for that reason alone, because if Q could not go with one of these guys, then it also wouldn't be able to go with the other of these guys as well. And the same thing actually also applies to K and M, because K and M have 0 rules on them. There's no reason that Q wouldn't be able to go with one of them if it also couldn't go with the other one. In other words, K and M, the same thing applies to both answer choices. So since they can't both be correct, they would both have to be wrong. You don't get this opportunity too often, and even when you do, it's kind of hard to notice. But if you do notice that 2 answer choices are logically identical, if the exact same thing applies to both answer choices, then they can't both be right. So it would stand to reason that both must be wrong. Now, That still might raise the question of why can't Q go next to T? We haven't really quite resolved that, but let's see what we can do with that. Now, if you look at our templates, in the first template, Q and T are unambiguously in separate groups, so they wouldn't be together there. But what about the second template? Would it be possible to have Q and T together in the second template? Well, actually, I suppose not, because if Q and T were, Q always carries P, right? So if the PQ block was in zone number 1, then you couldn't have a T there as well. That wouldn't work. But, there it is. If the PQ block was in 3, then somebody's going to have to be in 1 and it's going to have to be T as far as these two are concerned. So they would still be separate. So yeah, there would never be an opportunity to have Q and T together. Either way, best answer to question number 16 is D.